The chairperson of the Alexandra Randburg Midrand Taxi Association, Victor Moekeletsi, and his bodyguard have been shot dead in Marlboro, Johannesburg. Another bodyguard and a motorist were rushed to hospital with gunshot wounds. Our reporter Zola Sholwana is on the scene and she joins me now. Earlier, Zola, when we took part a bit of that impromptu briefing, we had the Taxi Association appealing for calm, but also appealing to the police to do their job.
Well, yes, indeed, Vuyo. That is what we heard in a briefing that was held earlier on with the SAPS, acting commissioner, the PRO of the association, and of course a family member who was giving us details as to what's going to happen from now. Where I'm standing, is actually where the 52-year-old chairperson of ARMTA tragically lost his life with his bodyguard, of course, but the bodyguard's body was on the other side. So, of course, at this moment, the scene is clear. Police have calmed the scene, and family members were also able to conduct their rituals. Now, we got to hear from the family, and they were quite emotional about this, as they have described this person as a joyful individual who was just, a breath of fresh air in the family, a peacemaker. And for them to be told about what has happened here, and some of them even coming to witness what happened here earlier on, it was quite devastating for the family. They did mention that there's going to be a family meeting that will be held later on today, and that is, of course, that's when they will then know when everything will happen, when it comes to the memorial service and the actual funeral of their loved one. We also heard from the, Taxi Association. We saw a lot of their vehicles here, and of course, conducting their own ritual as an association. This is a person that has led them for several years, Vuyo. They have described him as a peacemaker, someone that has played a great role in establishing the association that you and I are speaking about at this particular moment, and how things, have come forth. They've also mentioned that not so long ago they had, peacemaking meetings with other associations that they previously had issues with in the past, and they were convinced that obviously, they're starting everything afresh on a clean slate. But of course, that does not suggest that we know the motive behind, this gruesome killing. Police are still investigating that, and we will know, what could have led. There's also something that was mentioned, by a family member, saying that recently there was a threat on his life, but that amounted to nothing because he had security and, his life was spared. So they were quite relaxed as a family, although they anticipated, or they knew that the industry that he's in, because of the violence that it is known for, something of this kind can possibly happen, but they did not expect it to happen today and in the manner in which it happened, Vuyo. Police have called on community members, who saw when all of this, happened. I mean, where I'm standing, there are motorists, there are commuters getting off, taxis, going to their homes, so there's a lot of movement. Hence, there are two vehicles that actually, were involved in the scene, in a sense that the taxi boss allegedly crashed in one of their vehicles that we saw here, that was also taken away from the scene. We are told that that motorist is currently receiving medical attention at the hospital. This has raised a lot of safety concerns around the area, and those that are using, taxis, as to say, seemingly anything can happen at this point, because remember, this is not the first time we hear about, a taxi boss being gunned down in this kind of fashion. Not so long ago, we were in Soweto, where the chairperson of the NTA in Gauteng was also gunned down in a similar, fashion. And of course, investigations are also ongoing with regards to his case as well. Not so long ago, in Diepsloot, there was also, taxi violence. General Kekana, in fact, confirmed that this year alone, they've had about 39 of these kind of cases, which then raises an alarm to say, when will this stop? When will it get to a point where the taxi industry, if they do have issues, because we don't know what the motive of this one could possibly be, when will they solve their matters in the boardroom rather than, creating war as we have been seeing in the past few weeks? But of course, it's still fresh, it's still new. At this moment, there's a lot of speculation going around on what could have led to this point, but police will conduct their investigation. They will also get to speak to some of the survivors, as we understand that some of the bodyguards, managed to survive. In fact, one of them was also part of the scene when all of this, was happening. So they might possibly assist police in terms of their investigations. Police have also called on hospitals to assist in terms of locating the alleged perpetrators of this crime, because the vehicle that is believed to have attacked, the taxi box and his bodyguards was a car that was dumped not far from here, which was a BMW vehicle, and it had blood stained in it, which suggests that there was possibly an injury, and that person could possibly have gone to one of the health facilities not far from here. So they're calling on hospitals as well to play their part so that they can get to the bottom of this matter.
Zola Sholwana with that update per the taxi industry spokesperson. They are appealing for calm, saying people must indeed allow the police to do their job without hindrance, but at the same time saying the police should indeed do their job and do that with speed so as to get to the bottom of what actually happened. But also, I suppose, in the context of everything happening at both the Midrand Commission of Inquiry and the Parliament's ad hoc committee, the importance of restoring people's confidence can also not be over or underestimated.